Goat realised that this was the only real way to make money. Don't fuck the clients, kill them. Slowly but surely, Goat proceeded to lure passing creatures with his slightly longer than usual horns and many sexy spare legs, and then spear them with his horns and batter them with these legs, more of which he continued to collect after each kill. Afterwards, he sometimes even enjoyed the added bonus of rape, or death rape, to satisfy the aforementioned scholars. Goat was collecting a fortune, but kept giving 90% of it to Horse. On one occasion, Goat had actually paid Horse to take all the money he had, just to let him lie underneath Horse while he urinated. Despite this pleasure, Goat nevertheless felt unsatisfied. "I feel unsatisfied," proclaimed Goat, stating the obvious yet again, but this time in front of a crowd of more than two, at the poetry gathering. Goat was not very good at poetry, and did not like it very much either. In fact, he only read Horse's works due to his love-hate relationship with the neighbouring poet. "Get off the stage, you whore, you brass, you call girl, cocotte, courtesan, fille de joie, harlot, hooker, hustler, loose goat, mole, scrubber, streetwalker, strumpet, tart, trollop, you working goat," shouted an alphabetising, eloquent and well-vocabularised badger in the crowd, named Badger. Goat left the stage, using one of his many spare legs to wipe the filthy tears from his repugnant face. On this occasion it was Camel's left hind leg. Ah, Camel. He's nice but very boring, so he didn't make it to the final cut of this tale. Poor Camel. He went through life unnoticed, and is now not even properly featured here, despite dying purely for the purposes of this legend and suffering the most horrendous death in history. A new poet approached the stage. Goodness, it's Penguin himself. "You've killed all those creatures, sexualized all their features, but have nothing to show for it, but a bag full of urine and shit." This poem is from the award-winning Penguin's Poems by Penguin, written by Penguin but published surprisingly by Puffin. Personally, I've never seen the appeal of Penguin's poems, but they keep selling, though 99% of his poems are believed to have been bought by fellow speciesists, enchanted by the wonderful "everyone should be true raped and killed or killed and death raped, except for penguins," a poem repeated 49 times in Penguin's poems. "I can't help feeling that this poem is saying something about me," thought Goat. Well, he thought he had thought it, but in fact he had whined it out loud. "Arrogant fucker," scowled Penguin. Goat reached for another hairy leg, dried his tears, and then began to kill and rape all these inhabitants of the poetry gathering, making sure he used the killing legs for killing, and placed the eye-white legs in a safe and dry place. As they wriggled to the violence of their own rapes, Goat stole from their pathetically poetic corpses. This time, however, he kept the money. What Goat did not realise was that Horse was watching the whole thing from a small window in his upstairs bathroom, masturbating at the same time. Horse had 12 bathrooms, but had never once bathed, and instead used his bath as depositories for the famous substance whose presence signified the successful completion of his masturbatory endeavours. Some poets are very rich. Horse, for example, owns his own poetry gathering. The Pink Pound has often been credited for much of his success, though it does not even compete with the Pedo Pound that has earned Fox his millions, over half his fortune coming from sales of his masterpiece, Fuck Then Kill Cub Club. Unfortunately for Fox, he happened to be committing the much-loved pastime of paedophilia during this poetry gathering, and was now dead and raped thanks to Goat, limbs removed, with an anxious kitten still attached between where his legs had previously resided. This kitten, called Kitten, was very good at renting himself, and consequently very expensive. Fox knew this and had therefore come prepared, with thousands of pounds stuffed in his ears. Now the ears, along with all the money, were stuffed in Goat's ears. Some of you may not be, but I'm currently quite pleased for Goat. I am of course a world-renowned goat lover though, so I'm hardly impartial. I wonder what Kitten would think. Oh wait, he's dead too, and raped. "Look at all this money. I never have to work again," thought Goat. "You're talking to yourself out loud again, Goat," said Horse. "And no, you will have to work again, because that's my fucking money." "Please, Horse, can't I keep some?" "You know what, Goathy? I think I need a piss," snarled Horse, groping his terrifyingly mammoth penis. Even Mammoth himself was jealous. Goat couldn't help but give in, remembering the phenomenal shower he had previously received from Horse. "Here's the money," snivelled Goat, as he handed over the earful of notes and crouched beneath Horse's satiated bladder. As he lay blissfully under the torrent of Horse's urine, Goat realised that this was not a proper life. He had been driven to this by his failure to be in charge of Swan's wedding. But it is still possible, thought Goat. If I kill everything larger than me, then I can be Swan's best man and pay for everything. But I would need my money back.
What?
Asked Horse, pissing away the semen he had sucked out of a passing stranger earlier that day. Goat had yet again forgotten to think silently, but the gushing of urine disturbed the flow of sound from Goat's mouth to Horse's ear. Plus Horse's ear was stuffed with Fox's ear, which was of course stuffed with money, and I think I can see one of Kitten's ears in there too. After enjoying a little more of Horse's golden waterfall, Goat realised that with Horse he could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Horse was tall and had money. So after they had finished his urinatory adventure, Goat mentioned this to Horse. They promptly made a sexy bonfire to celebrate Horse's idea. Yes, Horse took the credit for it, and paid someone to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Goat had never laughed so much in his life. He had dreamt of 2 birds actually being killed by the same stone since he was a kid. Horse found any death humorous. So he too was rolling about, penis on fire. This was how funny he found it. He'd never even realised that his penis was on fire. Horse eventually burnt to death, and still chuckling, Goat took the opportunity to perform yet another death rape. I love you, Horse, panted Goat, but you treated me so bad. I'm going to take your legs, darling. He removed Horse's hairy but nevertheless arousing legs, turned and walked away, already using one of the legs to mop up his tears, and some of the urine from the aforementioned and infamous shower scene, also featured in the brilliant The Legend of Goat and Friends. Oh, actually, this is that story, apologies. But Horse was not quite dead. I know I already said that he eventually burned to death, but this hasn't happened yet, you disparaging bitch. Horse was squirming around on the floor, with only his obese middle and gorgeous head remaining. Goat's first thought was, my first real rape. He accidentally said this out loud. The Horse could do little but roll from side to side, moaning like a disenchanted whale, a sound familiar to that greatest-selling whale-based song of 1543, I'm Disenchanted, by Moby Marley and the Wailers. Horse may indeed have applauded Goat's achievement, but of course had no limbs. I'll always love you, Horse, whispered Goat.
Fuck off, Goat.
Oh, and I nearly forgot to take the money, Slice, from your ears.
Sorry, I didn't catch that last bit, mumbled Horse.
This was due to his recent loss of ears, of course, which Goat removed while saying slice 6.5 seconds beforehand. Not wishing to appear rude, Goat remained with Horse, trying to act out from your ears, which one would think is not that difficult. These two had never made a good charades team. Penguin and Fox even used to tease them about it. Well, who's laughing now, eh? Not sure. Goat's tears were now becoming tears of joy. He was beginning to get a taste for death, and obviously for rape too. In fact, straight after his rampant rape and murder session, Goat wrote 3 critically acclaimed theses: An Introduction to Death Rape, The Real Future for Sexual Assault, and of course, You've Never Been Properly Raped Unless You're Dead First. Incredibly, all 3 were written, published, and had sold out within 5 hours. So Goat still had time to be Swan's best man. He had money and had killed everything taller than him, except for Pedestrian. He liked Pedestrian a lot, some would say too much. So he was not keen to murder him. He was not concerned about the rape aspect, however. After thinking for over 12 seconds, Goat eventually decided that he would not kill Pedestrian, but instead simply remove all his limbs, which would mean that he would not only become taller than Pedestrian, but also have even more spare legs for tear toweling, yet again killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Goat had never understood this expression, but felt he should obey the author and proceeded to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Just outside Penguin's laundrette, feces removals, he found 2 baby birds playing with each other in an innocently homoerotic fashion, and took advantage of their closeness to each other, throwing a large urine-stained rock from a tree above them. Goat was a good climber, a fact most stunningly illustrated in Owl's Goat is Quite a Good Climber, published by his own shit. Both the birds died with 1 stone, and Goat obviously couldn't leave without a little rape. To be honest, it wasn't just a little. He was at it for over a fortnight. This gave him hardly any time to dismember Pedestrian before Swan's wedding, so it was fortunate that the laundrette was next door to Pedestrian's umbilical cord factory. I require your limbs, Pedestrian, squealed Goat, trotting into the factory. I am quite fond of my limbs, dear Goat, sighed the Pedestrian. How much will you give me?
1 rape, offered Goat. 3 rapes? 2 rapes? 2 rapes and a penis in the eye.
Done, shouted Goat, leaning forward to shake pedestrian's hand. Once shaken, he tugged at the right arm of pedestrian till it fell off, resulting in an explosion of blood and urine, which was a humorous surprise for both of them to find urine, and even a little semen, coming out of his shoulder. More startling substances continued to exit pedestrian as further limbs were elegantly removed. For further details, see pedestrian's controversial autobiography. I used to inject pubic lice into my veins, but now I've given up because I died. Goodbye, my love, called Goat, as he waved to pedestrian with his own recently detached arms, the fingers coated in shit from being stuffed up pedestrian's own arse during his 2 rapes. What about my stab in the eye? Called pedestrian, writhing around on the laundrette floor, obviously unable to get up or do anything other than wriggle in an epileptic yet erotic manner.